Hello everyone and welcome to another week of What Can You Do With It Wednesday. Tammy here with you today for Flying Unicorn, and what we're going to do today is make a flower. I seen these flowers in Progreso, Mexico, and was inspired to do a flower with them, trying to kind of achieve the look. Thought they kind of look like squares, so that's where I'm starting at. What you're going to do is need a 2" by 2" square block of cardstock. Make sure that the block and the cardstock is relatively thick because we're going to split it. That'll all make sense here in a little bit. The first thing you're going to do with your square block is take it and fold it from corner to corner and make you a triangle and crease it. And then do the other corner and crease it. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is get you a pair of scissors and go in between the centers, and do not cut all the way to the center. You're just going to make a decent cut. If you get it too deep, you'll be in trouble later on. Go through the next one. You can see right here is my center. I'm not going all the way through. Go around and do this to every side. Now, this is where you're going to take your piece after you've done these things right here. And you can do this at a different level. I don't know why I chose to do it this way, but for the sake of this tutorial, this is the way I've done it. I've done all this first. Then I've taken the cardstock, and I've got junk all over my nails. I'm sorry, I've been using some mist and some ink, so everything kind of looks not so great right now. But anyways, as you can see, this cardstock is relatively thick enough. It's the Brazil cardstock that Alda has in the store, or she sends with her kits. If you get a kit of the month cardstock add-on, this is the cardstock that you have got. This particular color came with our May kit. And then just split it. And you're going to go all the way around doing this, and just be very careful when you're doing it. Now you can choose at this point, before you split it, to ink it. You can choose to do it afterwards. It doesn't really make a difference. Inking the edges. And as you can see, that's basically how I done it. And then what you end up with, when you're done, be careful, you can split it real easy. I would suggest doing it corner by corner and then going and pulling it inside. That way you don't split your center. Okay, here's two that I already have that are split. And the next step you're going to do is each area where I have made a prior cut, you're going to kind of make a triangle cut. You see, this is like a little triangle. And you're going to do this to each side of each square. Hope you can see this all right. Anyways, you get the idea. You go all the way around and do that. And you're going to do that on both pieces. Now, when you're done, you can ink your edges like I've done here. And you can then mist it. I mist it with some Tattered Angels pearl. Alda has a wonderful selection of Tattered Angels in the store. And I also inked the edges, and this is very wonderful to ink these flower edges, as you can get into the crannies with it, the really narrow spots with the pointed tip of the Ingrid Bloom Bolme. I'm not sure how I say that name, but I used Rosebud, and I inked the edges all the way around. Okay, then while it's wet, if you lightly crumple it, you're just going to lightly crumple it, and then it'll hold its shape somewhat. Then dry it with your heating tool. And after that's done, you can see here I wasn't very careful, and I split that a little bit, but no worries, some glue is going to go there, so it's okay. That's all alright. And then you're going to just lay them on top of one another, like so. Now the cool thing is, you can put anything you want to as a center. This is what I used. I used McGill Snowflake Punch. No, Starburst. I'm sorry. It's a Starburst punch from McGill. And punched me out too. And I used my homemade, which I have a good one, but I used a homemade, and I took, you can see where I glued together 3 foam pieces to make me a place for a tool that I can use to make my flowers and make them stand, and not my flowers, but my flower centers or my petals, however I want to do it. But that's a cute little, well, not cute, it's been worn, you can see I've used the far out of it, but a very inexpensive way to get you a foam mat. Unless you have a mouse pad. Mouse pad works great too. I just kind of happen to like that a little bit better. It's a little bit sturdier. And then just stack those in the center like so. Now, I've got a couple that I've already got pre-made up. This one is just like the one I showed you. I didn't ink the edges or anything. These were my prototypes, if you will. So there's no ink, there's no mist. This is where I just used the Starburst punch in the center. And then on this one, I really wanted to achieve the look of the little flowers that come up right here. So on this one, I used another McGill punch that I have, and it's called Mini Petals. And one of the petals I used, I just shaped it with my little mat, and then glued it on the tips of a couple of the Starburst punch stamen, if you will, to achieve that center. Now, on the same thought of this flower, I got to thinking, what else can I do with it? Well, I took this shape, and I've seen that it's a corner. So I thought, how about a quarter punch? So I used a corner punch on the outside edges, did the exact same thing, split it in 2, then I punched it before, you can punch it afterwards, it's just up to you. Probably work out okay, but I'm afraid it would tear if you did it before as opposed to doing it afterwards. So there's another thought, and here's what that flower, and I just took several layers. I took 2 squares and made this nice little flower here with it, and used the Starburst punch again in the center. Again, it's a really easy flower. I hope that you share it with us and make one. It's just something real simple and easy, and these are so simple. You're using a 2-inch square, and you're dividing it in half, so essentially you can make a bunch, a lot of blooms in no time at all to go on your project. I want to thank you for being with me today, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial and give it a whirl. Thank you.